Mic check, mic check. All right. Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Okay. This is good. All right, perfect. All right, what's up, guys? I think everything's set up. Yo, what's up, Jay? How you doing? Um, I want to try something dishonest. You guys won't like it. Or maybe you will. uh,
Sorry, I didn't realize.
all right, let's do this. Dishonesty at its peak. We're probably gonna die getting door broken, though, to be fair. The FPS kill a crossbow? True. Good first invasion. The game is dead. Last stream it was pretty alive, honestly. I don't know, I guess we'll see today how the activity is. Also, I'm not gonna... wanted to stay here to buy stuff, but this guy playing his flute is kinda... it's kind of annoying. Guy who leaked Elden Ring for Switch early last year was right. He predicts likely September for Tarnished Edition. To be honest, that would actually be my guess too, like for the holidays. That's what makes the most sense. Like after Nightreign, like From Software would probably push for the holidays, really. Go plant. Yeah, this is a good build today. Actually, I've never actually played really with this particular setup, but I've tried the crossbow in the arena yesterday or the day before, and actually we're fighting 2 fingerprint shield, which unironically I can't really do anything against, so we have to swap. Uh, well. That's going so well. The play of the decade. Fucking insane, dude. Good actual first invasion. That's how I like to start the streams. With stuff like that. Yeah, so what I was about to say, what's up, Marco? For the first time ever, I tried, like, spread crossbow in the arena yesterday. And I was using, like, a really bad setup. I was using sword and board just to see, like, how much, like, spread crossbow could carry a setup. It was actually pretty difficult against the few good players I fought that actually knew, like, that you can actually pressure and prevent someone from using a crossbow. But for everyone else that played slightly passive, like, the crossbow just did all the work. There you go, Marco. This one's for you. I know this is your favorite setup. Yo, Alluvio, how you doing, man? Still playing Nightreign off stream, waiting for that enhanced bosses patch. Hopefully they add a little more difficulty. Because right now, like, we're starting to beat these bosses like clockwork. It actually makes me want to do some Elden Ring co-op, like Nintendoodoo Elden Ring co-op with chat. Like, let's say Nintendoodoo NG+7 with chat. That would be fucking amazing. I think we should do that. Dude, we should set it up. I don't think we can go +7 right away, but... The sunflower boss again? Yeah, exactly. But it was so fun last time when we tried that. And it was... I don't think it was any new game. It was just Nintendoodoo. Dude, if we go to new game +7 with Nintendoodoo... that's gonna be fucking brutal. You used DS a bit yesterday after playing PSSS for a month, and holy shit, PSSS is bad. Yeah, I mean, you know, TS is TS, right? If you have, like, really good spacing, like, the matchups are just almost always in your favor. Like, the thing with TS is you can be, like, a little more aggressive. with PSSS, like, you're kind of forced to be, like, very reactive and defensive. Like, you can't really force aggression all that much with PSSS. The only thing you can do is, like, you know, crutch on sword dance to, like, be aggressive with it. Yeah, I was playing it, like, a little bit yesterday with sword and board. Without fucking sword dance. Just sword and board with flame strike. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like, there's, you know, you can crutch on flame strike still. Flame strike carries so hard. I mean, flame strike carries, like, any setup that doesn't have a roll catch, like, reliable one. I mean, don't get me wrong, straight sword has the crouch attack, but it just doesn't do enough poise damage and does too little damage, so if it always stunned, then you'd have, like, a more reliable, like, way to hit some offense, but since it doesn't, it's, like, in a weird spot. He's buffed. Thank you, Marco. That one's on you. I wonder if this is going to be, like, dumb easy mode. I don't think so. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I feel like with a setup like that, I have more chances of dying purely out of, like, getting guard broken, especially fighting multiple people. But even, like, fighting good players, because my setup is not like set to use, like, dueling shield. Like, just getting kicked once, I could get, like, guard broken instantly and, like, lose the fight because of that. Whereas, you know, if you set up properly for a broken dueling shield build, like, you would resist that kick and you'd just win every trade, basically. But since my character is not set up, like, I think that's actually pretty dangerous to use dueling shield. Yeah, you need the humble setup. You know, the 50 endurance, the carrion dueling shield. That, you know, like, the fucking both the shield tally and the Verdilian, whatever it's called, medallion. Get your stamina, like, so high that it's basically impossible to guard break you. That's the nasty dueling shield. I think they're under us here. My FPS are tanking, not theirs. This is actually funny. Okay, let's get in there. You know who I feel like? I feel like Spades right now. Spades would have 4 spread crossbow though? True. 1 for after each shot. Like, Spades adopted that crossbow, I think. I mean, for obvious reason. Just like you, Marco, you know? Also, I realized, like, you don't get your bolts, like, they don't refill. Like, after that invasion, my bolts were still low. So I probably want to have, like, a backup here. What are the second best? Like, I mean, the best ones are obviously the lightning bolts. What are the second best that you can buy? Like, exploding bolts don't do as much. Oh, these ones, flaming bolts. But these ones, meteor bolts. Probably perfume. Yeah, but where? No, they're not. Perfumes are bad. Like ones that they can sell though. I think it has to be flaming bolts. I want one that you can be sold so that we can get it back. Like the lightning one, you can buy them back at a merchant. Because you go through them like so fast. Like you go through them nasty fast. How do you mark here? I actually forgot. No, that's not it. Dude, I forgot how to mark. Place beacon. Oh, it's X. Dude, after Nightreign, like some of this stuff feels confusing. Like there, I tried to sprint. Again, I tried to sprint. Dude, I am like so confused. Like Nightreign is really confusing me because it's the same game, you know, just different controls for some of this stuff. Night Rotted? Yes, Night Rotted. And here I'd use my grappling hook to get around faster. This would be like perfect terrain for it. Good fight. Holy shit, that was a really good fight. Really good. And I really appreciate like all the thought that From Software puts in the weapon choice that they introduce. Really makes the game feel rich and complete. Miss Bonebo and Nightreign? You know what I think is shameless? I think they're probably gonna introduce the DLC items in the fucking upcoming Nightreign DLC. Like they're gonna rebundle the same fucking DLC twice, basically. See, you get these ones. Tracking on the bow could be better. Yeah, I don't like it how like people can sprint to the side and get away from it. It shouldn't be like that. They should always hit people that they have no plays available. I wonder if Lord Sworn. Wonder if the normal bolts. There's no way. There's no way the normal bolts do more than this, right? Ooh, golden bolts though. Does this merchant sell golden bolts? This one here? Let's see. Maybe you could use the bleed bolts that the Mogwis Palace guy sells. Probably not for invasion. For duel maybe, but for invasion... Oh shit, there we are. That's it right here. We got our second bolt. These ones. The golden bolts. That's what it's going to be. Because look. 80 and then 20, so... That's the good split for the bolt right there. Yo, Cash, how you doing, man? Doing well so far. What's this Tarnished patch? The Tarnished patch is the Wii U version that's going to be introduced probably around the holidays. And we're gonna get a patch for the game that's gonna introduce, like, I think like something like 4 new weapons, 4 new armor, 3 horse skins. Does a poison bolt instantly poison? They actually... It's funny that you asked that, because that spread crossbow, when it launched with the DLC, was super broken, because the status buildup was basically untouched with it, so you basically could, like, one-shot proc whatever status you wanted. And so what they did to patch this crossbow is they buffed the actual damage and they nerfed the status, so they basically made it a straight-up shotgun. So you can still status with it, but it's gonna take, like, let's say 3 shots at least to, like, status proc someone. Whereas with your actual damaging shots, now you can do, like, you can do, like, in the 300 to, like, 400 damage range. And, like, if you clip someone, you, like, do 150, which is pretty nasty, honestly. Some nasty-ass damage. So non-status is king on that crossbow? Yeah, pretty much. Well, now, right? Like, now it's mostly best with non-status. What's the leaked armor again? It's a, I mean, you can find it online. It's basically the 4 armor sets that we're gonna get. I don't know if we're gonna get more than that. I don't think so. But it's basically 4 armor sets. Having sleep bolts is still strong. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what blenders look like. Doesn't matter what you're using. I think that's what I hate about this game. It's like doesn't really matter what you use, how you play. Like stuff like that is gonna be like almost unavoidable. Some weapons in this game play in auto mode, like Great Cat and Milady. Yeah, you say that because the tracking on those two is like overdone, basically. So you're right. Like you basically don't need to like do anything. They're not really strafable. Yo, Cleve, how you doing, bro? What I don't like about invading in this game is that in order to play invasions optimally, you'd basically you wouldn't want to engage at close range ever. Like you'd avoid engage unless it's a 1v1, you'd avoid engaging at close range against any squad. And you'd just be using all the range tools that this game provides. So it makes for some very boring gameplay overall. Like, you know, playing Golem Greatbow is fun for a while, but you know, you don't play Souls game just to play range, right? You play Souls game to play melee, but you can't really melee in this game reliably against multiple people. I mean, it has always been a thing with all the other games except like it's probably worse than this one because the blenders are nastier in Elden Ring. Like because of the way they don't have like any fucking hit counter. Like basically like in previous Souls game, like you could get hit 3 times and you'd instantly be able to roll out. Here in this game, like it's a little different. Like they still have it in place, but technically it doesn't really work half the time because you don't technically get stun lock. You have like a small window where you can roll out, but it doesn't matter because that window is irrelevant because you get frame trapped by a first hit basically all the time. And because in this game the damage is higher, the physic also is really, most of the time it's irrelevant. You know, like with Dark Souls 3, for instance, you had Tears of Denial, so it didn't matter how dumb the blender got, you had a legit chance at surviving it, just because if your HP reached 0, you had your 1 HP left that kicked in. So you could still get out of it. But here in this game, unfortunately, like the physics skip basically happens like pretty much all the time when you invade. You always get physics skipped. Yeah, my status builds up way faster, that's true. It is true that very often, like, I'll die to a blender that's basically bleed. I'll die to a bleed blender more often than other types of blender. I mean, if the PvE thinks he's there, probably there, right? But what is that baby jump? What the hell? This guy's so bad. This game sucks, what the fuck? Where did that even come from? That's fucking hilarious. So this guy was so shit, what the fuck? He wanted his fake duel. I still don't know where that thingy came from, though. Came out of nowhere. It should host tournaments where people can't escape the ring. One thing that I'm happy that Tourneys did, like in the recently, is that they enforced like a hard rule where if people like touch staircases, it's basically like a forfeit, like an out of bound. Dude, like it's crazy the amount of time that I was playing like at Old Wolf and people like basically escaped like a guaranteed combo in Dark Souls 3 by running away in the staircase, for instance. And like I'm talking about like the very top players, like they all fucking did that. And they would basically all have instantly lost under that rule set. Either that or they would have gotten like hit to death. So I think that's a very good rule, honestly. Like the whole like touch staircase and you instantly forfeit. I really like that. Obviously, though, it would be better if we had like arenas where, you know, you drop into a pit and the only way to get out is like getting up a ladder. So that there's no way that people can unintentionally run away, basically. Okay, my guess is this little thing is the host. Yeah. Insane BS attempt. Bro, these fucking backstab attempts. Like, what is crazy is in this fight, look at our health. Like, we're more than halfway. And most of that damage came from unintentional backstabs from me aggressing my opponent. Like, think about it. Like, it doesn't matter which weapon I'm using. Like, that's irrelevant. But, like, just think about that. Like, you get punished for an unintended mechanic because you're aggressing. That's fucked up. I mean, it's not a skill issue. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. These failed backstab attempts happen, like, very often. That shit is some of the most, like, low IQ annoying, like, mechanic that was put in this game, in these games. Like, the fact that you get a backstab grab with the same fucking button as you attack. Like, it's so outdated. It's basically like kicking, right? In previous Souls game, like, they had kick on, like, a weird input. Oh, my monitor just shut off, and it's fucking insane. I have a black screen right now, I can't even see anything. Let me just cancel that invasion. I unplugged and replugged every cable. Hopefully it doesn't do it. Do you think the Tarnished Edition patch will be big for PvP? No, I actually think it's going to do like only that. Bring 4 new weapons, 4 new armors. I think that's the only thing you're gonna get out of it. And obviously the fucking 3 horse skins. Let's not forget about the fucking horse skins. Super important. Does the Tarnish cost money? There's speculation that it will. I don't think it will. I don't think so. Could be wrong, honestly. I don't really know. We got a blue in there. Okay, I got a little help. Paul is gonna die on his own. We need to go back to PvE though. I told you the host was going to die on his own. You just have like thirsty shit players like just trying to gank while they can't handle like a single mob by themselves. That blue is a failed invader? Yeah, absolutely. Alright, let's go back to having fun with our honest setup. What I realize is like in a lot of these invasions, like this one for instance, like the dueling shield is not even like a great play really. Like dueling shield is really not that good in invasions if I'm being honest. It's way too risky to use most of the time. It's like very deadly in a dueling setting, and even then, for it to be deadly, you need to have like a proper build for it. Like a build that's really dedicated for dueling shield for it to be nasty. Or if your build happens to be over level and you have 50 endurance, that works too. That's why it's called a dueling shield, not an invading shield. So true, man. So true. Good point. The ganking shield, yeah, for ganking it definitely works too. I think for backstabs, guys, I think what I would do is like, you know how you can press like triangle and then R1 or R2 or L1 or L2 and then it swaps your weapon? Well, if you press triangle R1 or triangle R2, it still swaps your right weapon. Or like, you know what I mean? Like not swap, but like two-hands it or one-hands it. So basically the triangle R1 and triangle R2, it does the same thing. I think what they could have done is like have triangle R1 be switching, triangle R2 be backstabbing, and like triangle L2 be kicking. So that you always have a kick available. That way you don't have like any random fucking interactions. I don't think it's right to have kick be its own Ash of War. I think kick should always be available. That would also help, like, getting priority with a lot of weapons, too. Are there only, like, 100 strong players on all platforms? Because there's about 200 people playing PvP on all platforms. I'm joking, but that's almost it. Yo, FIFO, thanks for the resub for 23, man. Kick is so much better in DS1. I mean, I like that they buff Kick in Elden Ring, but I'm gonna be real here. Like, the fact that you cannot break, like, a proper shield build with a single kick, given how hard it is to land a kick. Like, kick should always be a guard break, basically. Like, it doesn't matter how much stamina you have or which shield you have. Doesn't matter if it's a fingerprint or a small shield. One kick should always guard break. Because it's hard to land. That's where I think they failed with the kick in this game. I mean, it's already really bad. Like, it has no range. You can outmaneuver a kick by, like, just fucking strafing to the side. Let me lock onto something. I'm gonna fight something to lock on, and I'll show you real quick. Like, just strafe. Like, walking to the side makes the kick miss, and then walking backward makes you walk out of range of the kick. So it's, like, dumb easy to avoid kicks. If you're not, like, being, like, hyper-focused, it should be easy to avoid. That said, people can always mix up. And that's a good thing, because if you couldn't... You swap from strength to dex. What is better scaling for dexterity, keen or lightning? It usually depends on the weapon, if I'm being honest. And it depends on the amount of dex you have. Usually at lower dex, lightning is better. And at higher dex, usually keen is better. But like the scale is a little bit more tipped toward keen than it was before with the DLC grease. But not that much, really. Like, you know, lightning infusion is usually the most cost-efficient infusion in the entire game for the damage in PvP. Is it worth buying Nightreign? Yeah, for me it was. Like, I'm not gonna like just praise Nightreign. Like, content-wise, like, it is not worth the money for the amount of content you have. But it's like it's fun. That's why it's such a shame that there's not that much content, because the game is actually super fun, and I've been enjoying it off stream like almost every day since it launched. Kill off. PvE's blocking. Have to jump. Alright, let's kill this guy. He's not alone anymore. Get the flag ground. He got so greedy there. This is a dead end, but just it's just straight up annoying. Bro, insane. Infinite projectile, dude. Can't really do anything, if I'm being honest. I think in the last invasion, like, I mean, pretty much in every invasion, like, a way better option is, sadly always the same thing. The best thing is just, you know, it's always to use the exact same weapon for every invasion. Even against shit players, like, if you get into a position where you can't really do much, like, gonna be big damage or nothing. Like, you can kill a scrub with any weapon, but not when they're with their friends. Like here, I would want to R2 this host. I would have R2'd him, but we can't because of the spell spam. Until there's no lane for his teammate to save him. Like right here. Is Sword Lance better than TS for invasions? Yeah, most of the time it is, yeah. Purely because, like, you have to understand, like, one thing about invasion versus duels. In duels, every little chip damage that you do matters a lot. In invasion, chip damage matters very little because you can heal all your mistakes away. So, like, when you're invading, you could get chipped for a lot of damage quite often, but you could just heal everything. But you really only need one R2 with Sword Lance to, like, get half their health down. So it's much easier to land, like, let's say 2 R2s in a row than it is to chip away from someone for their entire HP bar. Like, especially while you're under pressure from fighting multiple people. Yo, Steel, thanks for the raid. How are you doing, man? So all in all, it's easier in invasions to use weapons that do a lot of damage than it is to use top dueling weapons that do little damage. It just gives you a better win rate, and it's really math. Like, it's not even about the game; it's pure math. It's simply the fact that your opposition will heal away all the chipping that you're doing to them. And because in Elden Ring small chippy weapons don't keep priority, it makes it so that it's even harder to pressure someone so that you do like large chunks of damage. Without them escaping. As a Nightreign player. Insane double hit. We just straight up deleted him with a dumb fucking Elden Ring moment. This game is so stupid. Consistently inconsistent, dude. Actually insane. As if Swordlands needed that too. You know, From Software was like, we're gonna remove the combo for heavy thrusting sword from the on the jumping attack, but don't worry, we're gonna leave that tech where you basically do double damage, so you can still get that combo, but it's gonna appear to be the same hit. Forgot about that early patch combo. I find it so funny because they introduced the fucking R2 combo with Sword Lance, which does even more damage. And it's quite frankly quite easy to land because the R2 is not even a bad attack. Like, yes, it's slow, but it has insane hyper armor. Yeah, it's a good attack, you know? My people! Oh, we had a friend in here. Oh. Oh my god, I got a fucking screen turn off. Bro, the timing is unreal. There's 3 of them. No, there can't be. There was a teammate. Oh. Are you Iron Knight? Wow, just 1,000 damage, just like that. Apart from Swordlands, are there any HTS worth using for duels or invasions? Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not like HTS were not used before Swordlands. First of all, like, you know, an HTS swap is still very viable for the running R2. You know, an actual HTS, not Swordlands. And also, like, like any HTS with Flame Strike, like, you just do jumping attacks and then you land and do a Flame Strike. Like, that's, like, basic mix-up that legitimately takes 0 skills to do and is pretty gimmicky and effective against most things. Like, it's counterable, but it's still stupidly effective and doesn't require really any spacing. Because the jumping attacks has so much forward momentum that... That's a recurring theme, though, in Elden Ring. Like, players don't need to know how to space as well as in other Souls game, because the forward momentum for most of the attacks in this game is so over the top that, you know, like, you can attack at almost any range, really. You're annoyed that BHS Clean Rot outclasses almost everything? Yeah, that's true, but keep in mind that has always been the case for every Souls game. There has always been something that outclasses everything. Although, to be fair, I feel like in Elden Ring, that's probably a little less the case than other Souls game. Like, really, in Dark Souls 3, like, fucking PK Murky actually, like, outclassed everything. And you really legitimately like could not beat a good PK or a good Murky if you did not have a top setup. Whereas here in this game, like you can technically beat a BHSTS with some good Flame Strike play, for instance. Like BHS is basically not immune to getting caught by Flame Strike. So it's not like it's impossible to beat a TS with like worse setups, even if it's a good player using it. Like legitimately, like an hyper armor weapon with Flame Strike can do pretty well against BHSTS, for instance. Obviously, though, you need to play very well for that to work, but it's definitely a thing. I think Marco even actually beat someone with a TS on PC, like in a tourney, when he was using the greatsword, you know? Just goes to show. I don't know where he was going, but sudden guard awaits. My ancestors are smiling upon me, Imperial. Can you say the same? So true, man. So true. Oh, same guys from earlier. Kinda wish Colossals were viable in PvP. God damn it, man. My monitor turned off again. That shit is really annoying. Gonna have to fix this again after. But Colossals are fucking viable. Like, this shit is straight up, like, busted. Like, this hammer here. Let's fucking do this. It actually ate my input because I moved to the side slightly. I'm not even joking. I mean, aside from the guy running, weapon's doing pretty well. Also, his lat's kind of shit, but I think this game has, oh. Oh my god, there's 2 blues now? It actually... Oh, he's lagging. I was about to say, like, that actually did not hit me. My monitor turned off again. I need to panic roll. Oh! My monitor turned off and I... Oh, it turned off again. Wow, dude, it keeps turning off. I'm on a black screen right now. I'm still alive somehow. Okay, let's finish this. This guy's lat's pretty shit. Gonna have to, go. Okay, let me try to fix that again. What's your monitor brand? Because you have the same problem? It's fucking Alienware. I'm not buying that garbage again. Alienware is Dell, by the way. So, you have a Dell monitor. Dell is an Alienware. But it could be my cables. I need to buy new cables, man. I think actually after this stream I'm gonna buy some, like, been fucking holding for too long. I change all my cables. You have an Acer monitor? Oh. Keep in mind though, like, the monitor manufacturer, like, for the technology is usually the same. Like, for instance, like, you know, half the monitors come from either LG or Samsung. And I'll be honest with you, Samsung's dog shit and LG's pretty good. It's actually pretty stark, the contrast between those two companies. Like, legitimately, like, Samsung is one of the worst fucking company for consumers out there. Whereas LG, like, it actually takes pride in their technology as opposed to Samsung. It may actually be the power cord. That's interesting. Yeah, because I've plugged the monitors in, like, you know, different locations too. I've always had that problem with it, so I know it's not, like, the outlet. Someone said that at some point. Because I've tried this monitor, like, in both, like, Quebec and Ontario, so had the same issue. So it's definitely not, like, an, like, outer problem. It's, like, within the setup itself. But the power cord is interesting though. I never heard that the power cord could be causing it. Oh, that could have hurt. Okay, that I didn't think that would reach that far. Close to the pillar. Wow, it stunned me. Bro, like, that fucking ramp reaches so far. Definitely don't want to get hit by that. Ah! As I say that. Close. Dude, this fucking Colossal is so fucking powerful. It's like a perfect invasion weapon. I even forgot to switch back my tally. And why is it such a good weapon? The insane fucking damage, dude. It does so much damage. It's very hard to play against that hammer too, or that Colossal, I mean. Because you can't really do any mistakes. Like, if you do a mistake, like, a third of your health is gone in one attack. But so many weapons I showcase do insane damage, the game has no balance. Well, I mean, I pick and choose the weapons that do good damage because they're the most effective. I mean, I pick and choose effective weapons, like, I don't fill my inventory with bad weapons. This weapon and Falling Star Beast are pretty good then. I don't know, honestly, I don't know about, like, other Colossals. To be honest, I should probably compare. Let's actually do that right now. Let's compare the damage to this hammer versus, like, what would be the highest damaging hammer that we have. Like, let's compare it, to this one, to this one. We can compare it to this one. Are there any other ones? I mean, obviously, Rotten Axe is good, but it's better for duels. You know, it's called the Duelist Great Axe for a reason. Let's see about Axe of God 3 damage. Okay, so let's just compare the AR, right? So we got, AR-wise, we got 913 with this, and then with the bundle, it reaches 1048. So 1048 split, boosted by the two-handed tally. It's pretty hard to beat, honestly. Wait. And this one is pure pure physical 900. What the fuck? What the fuck? One sec, let me... Bro, like, what if we boost that with, like, fucking, we could bragger this shit. That's Warcry. You could get, like, 1k fucking physical. Maybe I've been sleeping on this one. 992, dude. 992 pure physical. That's almost the same as the last one, but pure fucking blunt damage. Dude, that's actually insane. Like, what about this one? This one is lighter. This one is 861. Okay, now we're starting to get into reasonable territory. 771. That's not worth it. What about Golem? Golem at 840. Not so bad. Like, the advantage of Golem obviously is you have more range, and with Storm Stomp you can get some combos. Obviously you can use Storm Stomp with Heavy Crusher as well. Let's actually let's grab another Crusher real quick. One with Storm Stomp, one without. Dude, what if we've been sleeping on these fucking Colossals because the club was just so easy and affordable, you know? Where is it? There it is. And then we're gonna get rid of this one, actually, and then grab this one back. And then we're gonna put like Storm Stomp on this one. Okay. Okay, we're in. I'm actually surprised that I can wield it. You know, that thing is heavy, like 26.5. Like, look at this. This is 17. That's a huge difference in weight. I'm actually so curious to see the insane damage we're gonna get. I wonder if the Fate Club is gonna still out damage it. Just keep in mind, the higher in AR you go, the less split damage matters. So like the higher the numbers, the less it matters, because like the way the defense are calculated in this game, like smaller numbers get hit more by split damage. So the smaller your number, like the better, or the more of a difference it needs to be for the split to be better. Like usually for most weapons, if you have, let's say, like 100 damage, or 100 AR, sorry, 100 AR difference between your physical weapon and the split damage, then it's gonna be like similarly equivalent with 100 difference. But that number like needs to be bigger as you get lower, and like it doesn't need to be as big as you get higher. The two-handed tally is in favor at Great Club. Yeah, true. Because it's a straight-up modifier. It doesn't care about physical. Although, to be fair, like, you know, like, usually weapons that are pure physical, like, people have good defense against it, but blunt is, like, the hardest physical damage to defend against. Like, some nasty blunt, like 1k blunt damage, that's gonna hurt. Now we can't find an invasion, of course. Yeah, you can't put a different Ash. Honestly, like, for duels... low-key, I'm thinking that this Giant Crusher with Storm Stomp would fucking wreck. Would probably wreck, dude. Because, like, you know, the Great Club has useless Ash, but Storm Stomp with the crouch mix-up is fucking deadly, dude. It's nasty. Pretty nasty. You could never understand how defense work? Yeah, I don't know why FromSoft does that. Oh, it's this guy again. Oh, he has the tongue on, definitely. Like, for instance, this guy this host, he's slightly latent. It's gonna be, like, perfect to, oh, never mind. I was about to say it's gonna be perfect to, like, use Storm Stomp instead, because it's gonna be easier to catch him. For duels, two-handed Colossal suck if you're facing good players. That's not necessarily true. That depends on the matchup. Like, I'd have you know that, fucking... We had, like, a tourney that was won with the Giant Great Club against someone that was dominating with Sword Lance. And the Sword Lance was forced to swap out because the sword lance couldn't do anything against the great club. And the great club ultimately won. And, you know, this was like a tournament final against 2 previous tourney champions, you know? And also, I'll add to that, that in that tourney, you know, stuff like Storm Stomp is probably banned. But if you add Storm Stomp to the mix, your good player that's reacting to everything is gonna look a little more shabby, just with the Storm Stomp mixed up with the crouches. It's not skillful, though, don't get me wrong. Like, Storm Stomp Colossal is not skillful. Any scrub can use that. And it's still deadly effective, but that's Storm Stomp for you, you know? Does Storm Stomp combo into Giant Crusher R1? Yes, it does. Do you think Strength is technically the most optimal build for PvP? It always depends on the matchup, really. It's like, without any rules, if you're fighting in a closed arena, would Strength be better than a gravitational missile centric build in a closed arena, like a Stormveil type arena? I actually think the gravitational missile build probably has the edge if it's a good player, just from pure cheese. You'd be we'd have to resort to Endure and then pressure. But the problem is that the magic build, for instance, can also use like TSBHS, right? Like, it's a little bit more complicated than that. That's also a reason why I'm not a big fan of, like, tourneys banning everything, because you never really have tourneys where players actually push the meta to the limit. It's always, like, you know, when it's not... The good players always use, like, the same setups. And I say that, I include, like, you know... I would do the same thing. Okay, now I'm excited. Let's see. I mean, it 2-shot them for 1,000 damage. I think what we need to do to, like, have this test be a little better is we hit them once with this, like, okay, let's do this instead. We kill one, and then we leave one alive, and then we use the second one as a test dummy, right? So, like, we hit the second one once, and then we switch hammer, hit them with the other one. Oh yeah, without any rules, yeah, Fate build would be best. Yeah, that's true because of projected heal. Yeah, by default, without any rules, projected heal wins. You're right. I agree with you. You're absolutely right. So now that we've established that by default projected heal wins, like, now what? Do you, like, stop the thing entirely, or do you like you say, like, okay, then if it's not for projected heal, like, what if that's banned? Like, what's the next thing? And, like, you could go down and down the list like that, but it's not necessarily as straightforward as Strength build is best. Because even, for instance, if you had, like, a rule set with, like, number of rules, like, at the end of the day, you'd still have, like, some matchups, like, for instance, medium shield medium shield Wakazashi on a optimized dex build versus TSBHS, and the TSBHS would have a hard time because the dagger keeps priority, the TS doesn't. The TS has to worry about the parries, and you can't pressure as easily because of the shield. So you see what I mean there? Like, it's not as cut and dry as, like, oh yeah, you know, it's because I think the problem is, it's like, when someone like me uses like TS as a de facto weapon, when I'm facing like a hard situation or something I want to win, it's because it's my comfortable weapon. It's not because it's necessarily the best. Like, people thought the same thing about like fucking Gundyr in Dark Souls 3, right? Everyone started doing Gundyr. Wasn't necessarily the best, like it's just like this is what I adopted. It's the same thing for TS. TS is not necessarily the best. It's amongst the best, but you can beat it with other matchups. Play more into Corvian. That's another thing, right? Like, I remember in Dark Souls 3, like, people started taking like people were frustrated about like how hard it was to approach the greatsword. And so like when I'd get a hit with the greatsword and then swap to the Corvian for a follow-up, you know, like their excuse would be like, oh, you're not playing greatsword, you're playing Corvian. Whereas like all the hard work that was done throughout the match was basically done with the Claymore. It's just that you had to play to the limit of what the weapon was capable of. Because after you had done all that hard work with Claymore, there was no way for you to finish your opponent. Because now they were just going to never attack you and always like reaction roll away. And the entire Claymore kit was fully reactionable. So you had to mix up something in there. Like, Claymore was basically like a purely defensive weapon. But what people don't realize is even if you did like 90% of your damage with the dagger, the reason why you were able to do that in Dark Souls 3 was because the base weapon to start was Claymore, and because the Claymore defensive play was so tight, they had no opportunity to ever attack. So that allowed me to get close to them and to chip them away with the dagger. That's ultimately like the entire like greatsword playstyle I had with Dark Souls 3. Oh shit, Crusher versus Crusher, let's go. Alright, let's see here. Sick. Alright. Hopefully he doesn't get one shot. Okay, 898. Let's try with this. 845. So he has light armor though. So we did more damage with the Crusher there. So we're gonna need to redo that test with someone that has more armor. Guys. Just think about how difficult and how impossible it would actually be to do a flip with something like this. Like, just look at this shit. A flip with something like that? That's insane. I definitely prefer the R2 of this though. The big slam. Definitely more usable than whatever that is. So replacing that R2 with the Bragger R2, definitely better in my opinion. And also, you know, Bragger is Bragger. Bragger is the best fucking... the best buff in the entire game. Golem R2 is useful? Yeah, sometimes. I think, like, usually when I play with the Golem Halberd, I try to use the R2 too much, because it's decent, but it's not that good. It's short. I think I try to use it too much. Like, you overestimate the range. I'm surprised that we don't fat roll with this huge thing. But keep in mind though, for the weight ratio, you know, that Fate Club is definitely better for like the weight it has. Like there's no doubt about that. Oh, we got the aggro music. And just like that. Get that. Have you used fingerprint as a main weapon? Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a whole stream where we used like fingerprint to like one-shot people with this stupid like bleed madness. That was a while back. Yeah, fingerprint is actually pretty deadly for invasion, surprisingly. Surprising that I'm able to mid-roll? Yeah, I'm actually surprised myself, especially since I'm still 125, you know? Not even over-leveling. Although I do have Great Jar and Favor. Oh. I tried that R2, guys. I tried it. You saw the greatness of that R2. The immaculate tracking. Leave it to the R2 to miss point blank. Yeah, like for instance, if I had the Great Club there, like the Great Club R2 would have been way better. Basically Lion's Claw, but slower, yeah. Dude, this Skyrim music is just so good, man. It's just so good. Two brothers running in the cornfield. At the time it, I was too late. Ain't that? Yeah. Alright, we're gonna test that damage against you now. Okay, that R1 is... we'll let him heal. Okay, so 916. The running though doesn't count. I have to let him heal. So it was 916. Okay, fuck. Just fucking kill him. He's just running. Yo, Bale, thanks for the gifted, man. Thanks for the gifted to Brenna. Okay, so a failed attempt at seeing the damage difference. Hopefully, we get a next host that has a little more fighting spirit. Also, I think I should test the damage also with like lightning bundle versus bragger. Like, let's say you don't have time to bragger. I mean, you could always do Shrek instead though. Like, Shrek would basically be the same and you'd be able to do that mid-fight for sure. What would be better, Great Club dedicated build or Storm Stomp's Way? I mean, I think Storm Stomp makes it better. But like if you have both fighting each other though, like the Great Club wins against the Storm Stomp's Way. But like Zwei, because of the Storm Stomps, would have better matchups. So really the best of both worlds is actually that Gent Crusher here. He's out of stam, that's why he... Kevin, where are we going? Would be funny if we add Exalted Flesh. Yeah, Exalted Flesh would be overkill. Like, we're already killing these people in 2 hits. I think we would still just kill them in 2 hits, really. I don't think it would make much of a difference. One thing that we're not even doing, though, is, like, we could put the Crouching Talisman to, like, increase the damage even further. Which you would do in a fight, like, right? Like, you start the fight with Crimson, and then you swap to the Crouching Tally to do even more crouch damage. And now, like, you fucking 3-shot in duels, not just invasions. Let's say 4 shots to be conservative. Oh, we were far. How much strength do you have? 54. You have to do at least the R2, R1 true combo at least once with Warcry. Actually, does it also combo with the... I know, like let's say Bragger, like R2 to R1 combos, but does Bragger R2, R1 also combos with this? Like, you know, the whole, like, this into this? Is this also a combo? I know it is on Gugs, but I don't know about this one. Jewish Colossal just one-shot everything. You know, you almost had it with the fucking Knight's Greatsword. Or was it called Fire Knight's Greatsword? When the DLC launched, you had the fucking... You had the fucking combo with that pretty much almost one-shot. I wish it was kept, like, unironically. Like, I actually liked it. Like, I unironically enjoyed that combo. I mean, it's still a Colossal Sword, you know? Whatever. You had to level Fate to use it, though? Yeah, I mean, small sacrifice for, small price to pay for the positive outcome. Is Wave of Darkness better on Gogs or Great Hammer? It's better on any Colossal, whether it's Colossal Sword or Colossal weapons. It's better on Colossals because you get more hyper armor with your Wave of Darkness, and that's really what you want when you're fighting multiple people. Like, you want to be able to Wave of Darkness in the pile. Otherwise, you're gonna get staggered if you can't do that. Yo, Teach, how you doing, bro? Better on cold Gogs. It depends what you want. Like, the wave does more damage the better the magic scaling. So, like, for instance, if you're somehow on a fucking hybrid strength int, you know, your magic infusion is going to be best. and then your cold infusion probably. But if you're on strength, like the follow-up from the Wave of Darkness, the part where you spin your sword to do the follow-up attack, that attack does a lot more damage if you are heavy infused than if you are cold infused. But with cold infused, you have also the chance of like rocking a frost too. So it's like, it's not as cut and dry necessarily. Also, you know, when you have it strength infused, you can then two-hand your weapon and just use it fucking normally afterward to do a shit ton of damage. You can also do that with frost, but like cold gugs without chilling mist is not as good as heavy gugs. With chilling mist, it's more comparable because you get the frost proc in like 2 or 3 hits, but without it, not as much. 34 strength, 60 int is your favorite build. You don't need 60, like with 50 is the cap for like melee magicka infusion damage. Okay, right now the invasions are slowing down for some reason. Just notice the skybox here. Are quality builds still underperforming? Quality builds are really only for over leveling. Like quality builds start to be good when you have 80 dex and 80 strength. That's when they start to be good. And at that point, you're probably better off with fucking, you know, an arcane build where you have like fucking 80 in every stat than arcane. You basically get like similar AR as quality, but you get insane bleed build up on top of that. I think they're above us, right there to our. Oh, they were here. Am I tripping? Almost tripping. Not even. Bro. Okay, so we got 840. God damn it, man. Fucking scrubs. I was about to swap weapon to like try the damage for the other one. I feel like lately there's at least 5 DCs per stream. I'll tell you that much. The scrubs tend to DC a lot more than than the people who play this game relatively often. That's for sure. What I find funny with the DCs is they don't DC when you invade, right? They DC when their friend dies and they're by themselves. They still try to kill you when it's a 2v1. You know, they don't mind playing the game when they have the advantage, but once it becomes even, once it gets to a 1v1, then they DC. Actually, what is the guard boost? 63. How about this one? 56. 63 guard boost though is pretty good. Yanking equal casual fun, 1v1, sweaty try hard. Yes. Elden Ring. You do great clubs on 38 end. I mean, I usually rock 38 endurance. I think 38 is the sweet spot for this game, but who knows, maybe it depends on your setup though. You don't need as much as 38 if you're not using like some very heavy stamina setups. Like for instance, I wouldn't go under 38 endurance if I'm using PSGS. Like you kind of need that for PSGS. What the fuck? You would have jumped down? That's what a Nightreign player would say. What's up, Canuck? You know, like what I would do? I would climb here. I unironically thought about it too. Oh my god, dude. This game is so ass. I'm not even sure why these boundaries exist, honestly. Dude, I'm always thinking Nightreign here. Actually trying to jump on stuff I can't jump. Okay, this guy is going to be perfect for testing that damage, I think. Oh! He got respawned. Oh! He's lagging. Oh! A 1020. Let's test with test with this. This guy knows. Okay, so this does a lot less. 929. Oops. Now we're the one that's out of bounds. Now let's try this one. Oh, he's... Oh, god damn it. It's gonna be hard to... I don't even remember what was the first damage that we landed. Oh my god. Okay, we have to hit him on the first roll. Close. Jesus Christ. It's like playing whack-a-mole. At least we're testing damage at the same time. $931. 931, and I think with this one we had like 1,000. Yeah, 1,020. So this one does more. Insane fight. So the Crusher with Bragger did more against this guy. I mean, if anyone tells you that Elden Ring is not a perfect game, or if people tell you that Elden Ring is a bad game, just tell them to shut up and show them this absolutely beautiful clip of intended gameplay that follows Miyazaki's amazing vision to a T. Okay, there they are. Oh, he's not even there. Okay, will you let me test that? Oh, it stunned me. Wanted to see if I could R2 to R1 combo. Did he even have blue on? What was the point there? I think he was just amazed by this great game and was enjoying it to the fullest. I think that's what was going on. At a crouched ally will hit harder. Yeah, indeed. Actually, next time we test damage, let's test it with the crouched ally on top. Just to see. No, try to push it even further. Okay, so the host is over there. In situations like that, I think this is going to be better. Or, even better, actually. We're going to use this one for this, because we're going to use its Ash. We're going to see how well the Ash performs in close quarter situation. Wait, is that the guy back there? Down there? No, it's not. It can't be. Maybe it was. I mean... see what you do against that. I mean, he is rolling everything. Or almost. Right. Oh, where are we going? Where is he? I fell off on a branch down there. Ooh, we almost fell because of this PvE. Well, the idea was there, you know? I was like, maybe he's gonna be forced to roll off. It eventually happened, but didn't roll to his death. Ooh, is he gonna heal? Is it too late? Oh, he healed! Okay, let's be dignified. Take the ladder. We'll do this. Okay, now that we have him here, let's try the crouch talisman. Oh, actually, we can't see the damage until he gets unrotted. So we're gonna wait for the rot to be over first. Let's try without the tally, and then we're gonna try with the tally. We'll have to wait for the rot to be over. Might actually give him that. All right, perfect. Now 779. There we go. Now we have someone on our back. Not taking damage. Also, our buff wore off. Okay, so we said 779. 872. Like, it did a lot more damage with both. Like, it did about 100 more damage. And it is a significant amount, that's for sure. The only thing I don't like about Bragger is you can't just use it on a whim. It's a commitment buff, like you need to commit in order to do it. Which is not always the best. Crouch tally is 12%. Pretty big, yeah. From what I was told, it's two-handed tally 10%, crouch tally 12. Which is a large amount, really. Like, that's a lot, dude. Like, when you're already doing, like, 700... What was it? Like, 772, something like that? 770... Let's say 770. What is 12% of 770? Let's see. Let's say 772 plus 12%. So it's about 864. Yeah, that sums it up. But it's almost 100 extra. That's crazy. It is about almost 100 extra damage. Bragger is best because of the defense boost? Yeah, absolutely. It's because Bragger gives like similar type of damage boost than like the other buffs, but you get a 10% flat defense against everything. That's massive. Like 10% flat is huge. That's like ridiculously high. Oh no, not here again. God damn it. We can't reach here. Did we end this invasion in 2 pots? Bro. Bro. I am him. At this point, I think I should permanently wear the fucking... I should permanently rock that helmet. I'd probably get a better invasion win rate because of that. Because I get so many kills with pots. Like, just that extra damage would probably help. Why Giant Crusher instead of Golem Halberd? I mean, the AR difference is like fucking massive. Look at that. Here we get 992 versus 840. That's a big difference. I actually wonder like how much the range difference is felt though. Be curious to know that. Maybe I can grab another. Do I have another column? Don't think I do. Oh, I do. Okay, let's there you go. We're gonna compare the actual damage difference between the Crusher, the Crusher and the Golem. Actually, we're gonna compare Golem to fucking Great Club too, dude. That could be interesting because now we know that Crusher is doing more damage than the club. But I don't know about fucking a Golem though. I think we won't have a choice here, but do that. I don't think that guy was there earlier when we talked about the tournament that was won. Like with Sword Lance getting fucking countered by this weapon actually. Like we actually talked about that like just earlier in the stream. Like how like a tournament was won in the final where Sword Lance was hard countered by a Colossal like that. It's funny because you really saw it firsthand, like he couldn't do anything. Because we were going to Hyper Armor through all his attacks. Whether it was the crouch, the jump, or the R2. It's like the reason why it counters it so hard is that he can't ever really aggress me. Because he'll just be forced to trade and he'll lose the trade. And then, on the other hand, I can just, you know, aggress him. And if I whiff, the HTS are too slow. Like, they can't whiff punish as well. I wanted to get a cheeky backstab. Ah, the fucking fingerprint. Unironically, though, these Colossals are pretty good against straight shields. Considered playing Elden Ring because Colossals are not trash anymore. Yeah, speaking of that, I think like as far as fashion goes and like cool looks, I think the Golem Halberd looks pretty cool. And so I want to see the damage difference. Next invasion, we're gonna try to find a Muppet to test our damage with like the three Colossals. We're gonna try Great Club, Crusher, and Golem to see how much damage does Golem do compared to the Great Club. Oh shit, look at that. Okay, so first of all, Evan, you're first. Oh wow, the lag. Okay, it's gonna be a little trickier though. Yeah, it's not gonna be a good candidate to test the damage. Because we can't test the damage with a fingerprint. The hardest thing about Colossals is poor visibility. Yeah, that and fighting TS or Dagger. Fighting TS or Dagger with Colossals can be quite painful because the recovery is so low that they can just like dodge into you and then they have priority, and you, even if you attack out of it, like they can just attack once and get out. That can be pretty dangerous and hard to deal with. In situations like that, really your best bet is actually to use Storm Stomp. Okay. I missed that bot. Okay, so right now we have buffed Crusher. I mean, I mean, come on now, that was like that was like, you know, fucking shooting game. These guys were camping in the corner, and then you just go around to sneak around them. That was actually like reminiscent of like some old shooting game matches. Just waiting around the corner to shoot you down. We still haven't found a good well, actually, these guys would have been good candidate to try that, but I mean, I could not pass up on that sneak attack. Come on now. And Warfare 2 noob tube tactics, dude. How annoying was the noob tube, man? Bro, when you were 11, you used the noob tube all the time and people would send you hate messages. You had no idea. Bro, I hated the fucking noob tube, man. I mean, there's a reason why they call it the noob tube. That shit's so funny, though. The fucking noob tube, dude. Like, thinking back, you know, I didn't really care much about Call of Duty, but if I was to replay that now, I would absolutely use that fucking shield blast, like, side equipment. You know, the one that protects you against explosives, like, way more. In these types of games. How many noob tubes in Elden Ring? Oh, there's a lot in Elden Ring. You find 125 or 150 to be more active? I think they're very similar, honestly. It's like at 125 you invade 150. Like, quite frankly, if you're aiming for activity... Oh, if you're aiming for activity, you should be going for, like, either, like, 139 or, like, 168? What is it? 168? 167? I forget. That's what you should be aiming for if you want to max out your summoning range or invasion range. Okay, host is going to be test dummy. $9.41 says this. Nope, that's the wrong thing. 941 888. We got 888, 851. So in the order you probably guessed, right? So Crusher does more than the Great Club and then Golem, but it could like switch a little bit depending on their armor, obviously. Like, you know, if they eat like Holy Resist or if they eat the crab, like, you know, of course damage could shift a little, but I guess no surprise there. Golem does a little bit less than the club, but to be quite honest, like, I'd probably use Golem with Storm Stomp. Just because you get that extra range, you get good damage, and you get Storm Stomp. But if you have the weight ratio for it, I mean, shit. Crusher does a significant amount more. So you get probably 100 more damage with Crusher. Does the R2 have any use case on the Golem? I'm gonna be honest, not really. Like, as much as the R2 there, like, is, you know, it looks decent, the range is actually too short. Like, most of the time, you're gonna be better off doing an R1 than an R2. And also, the R2 doesn't combo, like, for this. Like, you can't do Storm Stomp R2, it's just too slow. You need to do Storm Stomp R1. Also, Golem doesn't block half the screen. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We should block the entire screen. I'm sure you guys have seen, like, the range, you know, the range graphs, or like the range illustration image from Extra Life, right? Where they show, like, the range of each weapon. I mean, it's not Extra Life. Like, Extra Life stole this, by the way. Like, it's not. They just stole this without giving any credit to the person who actually took the time to, you know, test this out and data mine that info. But either way, what's unfortunate about that information is that it only compares the range with like a straight attack from a trusting sword given to like every weapon. So like you see the weapon range in an animation that they will never be using. I don't know if you see where I'm getting at there. Like for instance, it extends the length of the weapon to its fullest, right? The thing is, not all weapons use their length to the fullest depending on the attack animation. Like this here, this attacks like very diagonally, like to the ground, right? So the fact that it attacks diagonally to the ground, you're not using the full reach of your weapon like you are with an R1. So the range probably matters a lot more for like attacks that are like basically like running attacks like that than they matter for crouch attacks. And really your bread and butter is the crouch attacks. So I'm not really sure if the range difference between, let's say, Golem Halberd and Giant Crusher is even worth it because of that. Like, what we would need is, like, a range illustration of, like, both of these attacks side by side with, let's say, Golem and Giant Crusher to see, like, what is the actual length difference for both of these weapons for that specific animation. Do you think the trade-off for Elden Ring in innovation and build diversity is worth the regression it had compared to Dark Souls 3? I don't even, like, see, I don't even think it's a trade-off. It's more like a negligence, because Elden Ring could have been better in every way than Dark Souls 3 if they fucking didn't lower the player limit. If they didn't lower the player limit and they didn't fuck up the Taunter Stone, we would be sitting here doing fight clubs, doing like team invasions, and really having a blast with the game in general, PvP wise. And we're not. And there's no trade-off in regards to combat balance decision when it comes to that. It's not really a trade-off. It's simply they didn't know and they didn't care. That's all it comes down to. So it's not even a trade-off. But yeah, good question. Like, the reason why you think Dark Souls 3 PvP is better is not because it's mechanically better. It's technically, mechanically more simple. And Dark Souls 3 rewards more passivity, more reactive plays. And it rewards more skillful play when it comes to, like, spacing and timing. But ultimately, like, the combat in Elden Ring is more dynamic in general. It's also more, how should I put it? It's more, like, approachable from a new player as well. Like, you know, there's not as much of a learning curve. But the big problem is the community aspect to all of this. Like, invasions against gankers don't really exist in Elden Ring. You see people that are griefing, but if you see people griefing, either they allow you to fight them on a more, like, fair playing field where they turn on the tongue and they 2v2 you, basically. Or they just grief you and you can't do anything about it because you're never going to get any support from either PvE or PvP. So with that being said, the real problem with Elden Ring is really the community aspect and the fact that you don't really get fight clubs anymore because that lower player limit also affected that. I think this one wants to go first. Insane shit, man. He stopped fucking sprinting at the worst time. Dude, this guy is so laggy. Insane double roll. I'm glad that's over. Pontiff was fun, but the Ring City was an all-out war with the PvE and the reds and the hosts. You actually had to play somewhat decently to deal with all that. I agree with you, Mook. I think Ring City... Like, guys, for those of you who were not there during the Dark Souls 3 era, the Ring City was basically a DLC area for a Dark Souls 3 DLC. And what was special about this area is that the player limit was raised even further. So it allowed for 4 versus 2. So, like, you could have a team of 4 PvEers or gankers against invaders, and then there would be 2 invaders that would be allowed in the world for this to happen. Now, that made for some pretty dynamic fight, but because the Ring City was a very densely populated area with PvE mobs, usually the gankers would go through the entire map as they were getting invaded. So that made for some very dynamic gameplay. And the whole reason why this PvP dynamic even happened in the first place is because From Software made the brilliant decision of allowing players to pay an NPC or to pay to a shrine to revive the boss of this area as many times as they wanted. So basically, I could beat the boss and then pay a certain amount of souls at the shrine to then revive the boss, and so it would reset the whole area. And that meant that basically gankers, what they would do is they would play the area and try to reach the boss and kill it. And then if they get invaded along the way, that's part of the challenge, so to speak. And then if they manage to get to the boss, then they fight the boss, they beat it, and then they pay the souls amount, and then they revive the boss, and then they start again. And so you'd see a lot of New Game Plus 7 PvE in that area that was replayed over and over. And so what that meant really is it just fostered an environment that increased the level of activity to tenfold. So you'd get a ton of action there, even very late in the life cycle of Dark Souls 3. And you'd get plenty of invasions, and both parties were enjoying each other because it was challenging in a way for both. Because the invaders had to deal with 4 people, which is quite insane, but the gankers had to deal with the PvE as well. Yeah, and the boss for that area was also a PvP boss. Let's not forget about that. So all in all, the whole Ring City was brilliantly designed for longevity and PvP in mind. We don't get any of that in Elden Ring, unfortunately. Tickles. Oh my god, the fat rolls. We traded that for Red Mane and Tiny Caves? Yeah, we traded that for fucking getting 3v1 if the gankers want you to lose. And you can't do anything about it. 4v2 in a reloaded dead world? Yeah, so here's the thing, right? That was the dynamic that From Software created, going back to the Ring City. From Software had created an environment to foster this PvP dynamic. Of course, there's always people that try to abuse the system, so you still had gankers and griefers that tried to abuse that by simply clearing out the whole world, saving the area, and then reloading their save with the world cleared every time. So you'd basically be invading there in an empty world, but you still had a teammate. That's the thing. You still had a teammate. And that meant that no matter what kind of odds you were up against, you were still going to get another teammate if your teammate died. So that's basically how it made it possible to beat shitters and grifters. It's basically the blueprint was you stay alive until you have a teammate. Then when you have a teammate, you try to kill one of them. And if one of you died, well, the other one has to survive until another one comes. And that was the loop. And so eventually you had a good player that was teaming up with you. And 2 battle-hardened invaders could take out some of the nastiest ganks. You couldn't do that by yourself, but with a good teammate, you could. Like, of course, like, gankers were always trying to block people, that there wouldn't be, like, two good players in the world, but they couldn't stop players from making alt accounts either. So people would have a bunch of alt accounts just to invade even if the gankers blocked them. Oh, I felt like I hit that. Thought he would attack there. Oh, the double rolls, eh? I waited for that one. Oh. Played and saved. You know what? What's great here is we're two-shotting him if he makes too many mistakes. So even though like he's surviving by just running away and out-healing, like he's still on the ropes basically because every time we touch him, he needs to heal. I think, Moog, another thing that I really hate about Elden Ring is the fucking fashion, man. The fashion and their poise system with, like, hit priority, like, the fact that you lose priority, that you have insane hyper armor. Like, balance-wise, Elden Ring is definitely not, like, on the skill side with some of the stuff it has, even though it has good mechanics. Like, the way hyper armor works in this game is pretty poor. Where's the Christmas music? No Christmas music until Tarnished Edition. Yeah, startup is too quick, pretty much. What's your favorite PvP areas of all the games? It depends, like, do you mean visually or gameplay-wise? Because we just talked about the Ring City just earlier. I mean, as far as the whole complete full package experience, I think Ring City was the most fun area, probably followed by the forest in Dark Souls 3. I think Pontiff was a terrible map, if I'm being honest. Always hated Pontiff. Like, Ring City was very dynamic in multiple ways. And also, what was great about Ring City is you could stop You could stop gankers from fog walling you there also. Because every single boss was basically located behind a point, behind a choke point of some sort of, some sort of choke point, meaning that the entrance to the room that led to the boss, or to the room that led to the boss, you know what I mean? It was always the one door that you could actually cog block. Like, for instance, in order to reach the boss, like, I would be able to, like, sit here, and the entrance would be a little smaller than this, and so, like, I would be able to stand there and block the host from fog walling by just standing there, for instance. And basically in Ring City, you were allowed, not allowed, but you were able to do that. You could block people from fog walling by cock blocking them in specific doorways. And because you were always going to get a second invader, by working in tandem, you could prevent a host from fog walling you. And basically, like, force them to DC if they wanted to run away. Which was great, really. In terms of layout and helpful PvE, I mean, it's the same. It's Ring City again. Ring City had really good layout. It had a ton of areas where you could actually, like, play the game. Like, you could try to outplay people with maneuvers, parkour, a bunch of things. Elden Ring really doesn't have any of those areas. Elden Ring has cool areas, but you're never going to see these areas ever used to their fullest because of the player limit. So you're never going to experience that full layout, basically. Like, for instance, an all-out war at Stormvale would be pretty cool if you had a higher player limit and if the mobs actually did damage. If it wasn't like a starting area. Elden Ring has the Rot Lake. So true. So true, Clay. So true, man. Like, Prayer Room is a good one. You know, the area before Millennia. That's a cool spot. Like, not the room before Millennia, but the area. You know, the DLC has some nice spots. Like, you know, my favorite area in Elden Ring is this right here. I was lucky enough to, when the DLC launched, get a ton of invasions here. But this is basically my favorite spot to PvP in. To invade in, I should say. Like this spot right here, this little area. That then follows into the museum. Museum is great too, but my issue with the museum is the out of bounds are way too aggressive. Like, the out of bounds in the museum kind of killed the vibe for me. But this area here, like, you have super strong mobs, a lot of potential for throwing people off. Have a lot of choke points. You can make a lot of plays in this area. It's a very good area for invasions. This right there, this place. First step is so lame. Yeah, first step is super lame. I mean, the reason why they default to first step and, like, in Freezing Lake, it's that it's dummy proof. Like, they can't really ever do a mistake there because the invader has no plays available. They can't get outplayed if the opposition has no play. You know what I mean? That's why they pick these areas. It's basically griefing. It's an admission of being bad, really. That's what it is. An admission of, like, I need to abuse everything I can. Otherwise, I'm scared that I might lose to one guy while we're ganking. That's basically what it comes down to. And when it comes to people that actually do fake duels there, or duels, it's like you had the choice of any area, but you picked first step because you know when you're going to be on the ropes, you're going to need to run away. And if you had a wall behind you, you'd die right away. So I never really respect people who like do these fucking duels in like the dumbest fucking areas, like fucking Lernia or First Step. It's like, dude, like you could have picked like so many fucking locations that make a lot of sense for like duels, but you picked that. Speaking of that, see what I mean? Great player. I too like to attack people while buffing. Same double roll. To be honest, I'm having trouble seeing what this guy's doing. Well. Are there any Ash of War or spell new to Elden Ring that you wish they keep for the next game? Oh, there's a lot of good Ash of War, honestly, that I actually enjoy. I mean, we could go through an entire list. Like, unironically, I kind of like Flame Strike, but like, you know, like you could have fucking. I think Chilling Mist and Poison Mist are great. I think fucking this here, Palm Blast is nice. Storm Stomp, no. Spin Slash already existed. Let's see, let's go up a list. Let's see here. These are all the same Ash, really. Like the same Ash on everything here. I just noticed I'm using the same Ash for every setup. Like, it's actually the same Ash. That's funny. Like, it's actually the same for everything. The Divine Frost Stomp is pretty nice, too. I like that. Let's see here. What else is there? Bro, it's actually the same Ash everywhere. I guess I can't look at my list. I have to... I have to pull up, like, the Ash of War page to answer that. Let's see. Anything that's not just like a projectile spam fest is usually pretty good. Let's see. I think if you go inventory and then here. Okay, so let's go down the list. We got stuff that is kind of nice. That is new, because, you know, Impaling Trust isn't new. Slash, fuck that. Piercing Fang. Piercing Fang, I hope it makes a comeback. Love that. That's a great addition. Love Piercing Fang. Double Slash, it's too underpowered, but if Double Slash always poise broke, which it should, then that would be a great addition to Sword Dance already existed. Same thing for these. BHS, we could definitely have a game without it. No one would complain about it. Piercing Throw. Forgot what that is. This is all irrelevant stuff. I mean, Giant Hunt is definitely, you know, a welcome addition. Definitely not over the top or anything. And that wood is kind of nice that they should keep. Wave of Darkness definitely is a keeper. Flame of the Red Mane. Black Flame Tornado maybe, I guess. Flame Skewer too. Lightning Ram, they should probably keep that. That's kind of funny. Let's see what else is there. And we mentioned Poison Mist earlier. This one, Poison Flower blooms twice. That's another good one. Ice Spear, definitely a keeper. Really nice concept for Ice Spear. Same thing with Hoarfrost Stomp and Frost Stomp. I think they're really in a good spot, both of them. They have their use case, even though they're not used as much anymore. The rest is just, you know, niche stuff. But yeah, there's a few of them. Ice Spear is cracked for PvE. It's pretty good for PvP too. It's just, usually there's a better Ash than Ice Spear, but it's definitely very, very good. And has some really nice use case because it's fast. The fact that it's very fast at close range. It's a really nice Ash. Yeah, Ice Spear is a skillful Ash. I agree with you, Piki, because it has a real specific use case. It's to do a neutral attack at point blank that is fast. Oh, fuck. Here we go. I don't feel bad in the slightest. This guy just was fighting his boss nonchalantly with no friend, just fucking Leda. And he gets invaded. He doesn't even have like PvEers in his world. He's just using the PvE, dude. That shit's so funny, man. That is legitimately funny. Dude is not even co-oping and gets invaded in the boss. Oh, God. What's the use case for Frost Stomp? Against specific setups, like, if you're fighting, like, a, let's say, someone that has, like, a top-tier setup, like Shield Dagger, you can actually force them to move with Hoarfrost Stomp. You can force some plays with that. While being, like, decently safe as well. And so you can use that to, like, open them up, because at some point they might try to attack you to stop you from doing a Hoarfrost Stomp, and that's basically your window of opportunity to attack them. I mean, it's not a counter, like, I'm not saying it's a counter, but it's a situation where it makes sense to use. When you have someone low that's very passive, you know, stuff like that. You know, is there a better option? Would the spread crossbow be better? Against a shield? Actually, no. Not against a shield. But against someone that's low HP without a shield, yeah, crossbow would be better. But they have their use cases. Just have to play with them. Dagger and board is good. Yeah, it's a top setup that has been winning a lot of tourneys, honestly. Decisively, I might add, too. And the reason why it's decisively winning is that it keeps priority, it's safe, And the R2 does good damage. And you can attack out of stuff, and when people attack your shield, you have priority against a lot of setups too. So it's a pretty deadly dueling setup. In Invasion, it's kind of garbo because it doesn't do enough damage for invasions. Invasion, you'd be resorting to parry spamming, but for duels, it's different. Guess we're gonna pre-buff before getting in there, because this scrub is gonna attack us otherwise. Oh, speaking of shield, that's actually going to be interesting to try that out. Well, I guess my theory remains true that this is a good counter to shields. I think you see why. And he realized it. Pulse fight. So I don't think this guy was there earlier, because that's another thing I mentioned, like that like these Colossals are actually very good against shields because you can't block shit against these Colossals. They do too much stam damage. Like, I was talking to Steel a while ago, telling him that I believe that a counter to dueling shield was, you know, a Colossal like that. Like the Great Club. Because the Great Club, you do a ton of chip damage on top of that. And these Colossals, you cannot really trade with them, because they just do too much stand damage. Like, they can probably guard break any shield in 2 hits, I assume. I haven't tested it, but I assume it's probably the case. As it should, yes. As it should, you're absolutely right. As it should. It should definitely be a thing, for sure. If someone was stacking stamina stuff like Viridian +3, I think it's 2 hits, Mook, in that case. I think it's 2 hits. If you had Barricade or like Shield Grease, maybe more. Like, with Barricade and Shield Grease, then you start to tip the scale a little. But Barricade and Shield Grease, you can technically wait that out. Like, on paper, it's not like... You know, like, if you count Barricade and Shield Grease, then you should be counting fucking RKR, right? Like, you're gonna be comparing that against RKR. Can we get down from here? Is that a thing? Feeling frisky. Guys, you can. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Wait, I have never seen... Oh no, that's not true. There's a few of them. I was about to say, I've never seen these small scorpion. Oh boy, this guy's lagging. I think we might use this. Are blocking me. Close. I'm just brain deadly, just pushing him and attacking him because I know he's gonna make like a mistake like that at some point. You die on the permadeath run? You mean in Oblivion? Oh, we had more than a few deaths. Like when we started the permadeath in Oblivion, we died like 4 times in the first cave. And then the run that went on for a while was kind of cursed with the decisions I made, because the moment I decided, okay, like since we're dying a lot, like let me mix it up a little, we're gonna try like a different bird's-eye in every run. And then the moment I said that, like we fucking got so deep in the run. And eventually we actually died to the most bullshit fucking ever. Like we got one-shot by running into an object. Actually, we didn't run into an object. We glanced an object that one-shot us. It wasn't even an enemy or anything like that. It was like the most anticlimactic bullshit that you could imagine. Like it felt so unfair. But, you know, that's that. And so we restarted the permadeath afterward, and we got pretty far, but then after that, Nightreign came out. We're not dead on this other one yet. The furthest we've been, basically. It was the most Oblivion way to die? Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that. Have you played Oblivion off stream at all? I've only played once, and I told people beforehand and afterward to stat boost, right? To do like the whole boosting thing off stream, where you just like cast spells like 20,000 times just to max out your like your restoration, your destruction, you know, all that stuff. That's the only time where I played off stream, because I stayed like in the room, basically no risk of ever dying. And it was on the latest character, because we had already done that process with the previous character on stream, and it was just tedious to watch, so I did that process off stream. That was the only thing. You're honestly really enjoying Nightreign? Same here, actually. Like, Nightreign has been the game that I play for my own fun off stream, dude. And I play almost every night, too. And I play exclusively with Wilder. And I'm having a blast with it. Nightreign without friends would be dog shit, though? Yeah, probably, honestly. I think the reason why I'm enjoying it is because I'm playing with mostly Canuck and Cleve, really. Like, we get together often to play Nightreign. Surprisingly, like, we're all, like, you know, enjoying that. Pretty funny. Alright, fellas, let's do a last invasion. Yeah, I don't mind playing with randoms. I like playing with at least one friend, because it's more fun to talk, because really, like, you know, you're whacking like enemies that are easy to kill for most of the run. Like the challenge is always the last boss. Well, I mean the challenge now that I've played for a while, like we pretty much beat all the bosses like clockwork, but oh, I think they all died. Yeah. Well, guys, that was a good last invasion. Thank you everyone for coming by the stream. All right, bye-bye. But yeah, it's fun to play with like one random, because with one random you get that random factor with the rando, really. You don't know what you're gonna get. But it's not as fun if you can't talk to someone while you're playing, for sure. So at least one teammate. Alright, well guys, that was the last one. I guess the game wants us to stop here. It's telling me, it's giving me a sign. You resurrected your teammate 5 times during Libra and you still won, was super fun. Yeah, if you have like the right characters and the right setup to resurrect people, you can reliably resurrect, honestly. It's not that bad. Like for instance, with Wilder, your alt will do like 2 bars, and like your double hook shot will do like 1 full bar from range. And so you can actually revive reliably from range with Wilder very quickly for the first dent. And then the second dent, you can alt the guy with the boss, ideally. And then for the third one, then you have to like outplay a little bit and then attack your teammate before doing alt or hook shots. Like usually what's best if someone's 3 bar in your Wilder, it's like you attack them a few times, you dodge, you do a hook shot to keep the teammate like on the timer so that it doesn't go back up, and then you pretty much do that. You keep it on the hook shot from range while dodging the enemy. It's basically the play for Wilder, but I mean, easier said than done if you're like the last man standing against full aggro, but against 3 people usually the aggro is split, so it's not that bad. Or you just don't die forehead. Well, guys, good stream today. I think we discovered the power of the Giant Crusher. We thought that it was all about the Great Club, but the Giant Crusher is very, very strong. Very strong. It does so much fucking damage. Really liking the Crusher gameplay today. Definitely fun. But yeah, guys, thanks everyone for coming by. Really appreciate you guys staying and chatting and asking intelligent questions. Really happy that the IQ for the YouTube chat has actually increased in the last couple of streams. So really happy about that. So guys, thank you everyone for coming by. Really appreciate it. And we're gonna raid someone on Twitch. Alright guys, take care everyone. Let's see who's on. Okay, we got Montaz just chatting, Russ playing Lies of P, Night Riot playing Nightreign, Dudley playing Nightreign, Oro playing Nightreign. Everyone's playing Nightreign, no one's playing Elden Ring. So, I think since everyone is doing that, I'm gonna raid Dudley for today. Homie Dudley. OG Dudley, I might add. Alright, take care, guys.